You want me to be real for a second? Well, I guess I will be now. The Mario movie was the absolute worst thing I've ever seen in my life. I went into it having high expectations, but after I saw it, all of those expectations just went right down the drain after I saw the whole thing. Worst video game adaptation ever. And possibly the worst movie ever as well. I mean, what were they thinking? Did they really think that piece of crap movie was going to entertain us? I'm not kidding. I absolutely hate this movie. What's that? You thought I was talking about the new animated Mario movie by Illumination? I mean, I don't know how anybody could fall for that because this movie right here is bottom of the barrel. Unless if you were smart enough to know I was obviously joking. Anyway, after all this time, the Mario movie that we've all been waiting for the longest of time now, is finally released. And it's without a doubt one of the best, if not the best, video game movie I've ever seen. Roll credits. Okay, not really. But today it's time for me to give my perspective on the film as the big Mario fan that I claim to be. And after all this time and the long wait, and after me watching the movie like twice, it's time I finally give my full thoughts on it. And I'm sorry this video is like extremely late, but I was just trying to make sure I got like the script and just all the stuff I wanted to talk about in this video ready. And I'm ready to say all my thoughts now. As a matter of fact, I'm more than ready because there's a whole lot on my mind about the movie right now. First things first, we got to talk about this movie's origins because it's been in development for quite some time now. Before 2018, it was heavily rumored that Nintendo would be collaborating with Illumination and they would make a movie on Mario. And then at the start of 2018, it's officially been confirmed that they were collaborating and making a fully animated Mario movie. And after it was confirmed, many people, me included, were pretty skeptical on it because it's literally being made by one of the worst animation studios possible. But now, the movie has officially been released to the public, and there's no turning back from that. But I guess it feels like I'm kind of saying that as a bad thing, even though I know it's not, because this is definitely one of the best movies I've ever seen. And that's totally not because of my huge bias for the Mario series. Today, I'll finally be giving my full thoughts on the Super Mario Bros. Movie by Illumination, and Nintendo, of course. And I guess I have to say this too. This video is going to contain spoilers for the movie, although I don't think people should be complaining about it because the movie's been out for 2 weeks, and it's on them if they didn't see the movie when it came out on the first day because that's what they should have done from the start. Alright, let's do this.
Mario and the gang, you probably know my name. And so we start the game, jumping high, ducking low, from the sky to the ocean. How come Peach can't stop being stolen? Need a Firefly or star power now for Bowser. Koopa Troopa, Super Goomba, soon to lose a life. It's me and Peach and Luigi, so you know, stop and don't rock and roll. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
First things first, you know darn well we have to talk about that voice cast. And for all of you guys who've been wondering my full actual thoughts on the voice cast after watching the movie, drum roll please. I don't like him. Okay, just kidding. They were good. The voice acting and just, the cast and the voice actors, they were really great. Okay, not, the best voice actors that I've seen in movies, but for these characters and, for all, the side characters and just everyone we've seen in the movie, they sounded really accurate. Not to, their game counterparts, but, how the characters look and everything. Their voices absolutely fit them. Except for Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. And no offense to Seth Rogen, but I don't think his Donkey Kong voice was all that great. I don't think it really fit him all that well. He was okay, I guess, but he just... I did like his little laugh that he did at Mario when he ate the little mini mushroom. Yeah, spoilers, whatever, blah blah blah. The movie's already been out. So yeah, Seth Rogen. I mean, out of all the actors in the movie, Seth Rogen, he definitely did not do the best. He could have done a better job. Not, the worst, but his DK voice could have been a little bit better. I mean, Donkey Kong is a literal ape, and Seth Rogen should actually sound like what an ape would sound like. I mean, not like the crazy monkey or gorilla sounds they would make, but make his voice a little bit deeper. But no, that was literally just Seth Rogen's voice with Donkey Kong. Now let's talk about the other voice actors. So we of course got Jack Black, who absolutely nailed it as Bowser. He definitely gave it his all, and especially during the part where Bowser was playing the piano and singing the Peaches song, which is literally the best thing I've ever seen in my life. And then you got Keegan-Michael Key, who played as Toad, and he did great as well. He didn't sound completely like how Toad sounded in the games. Just, he kind of sounded a little bit like it, but it was just, a blend of, a normal voice and a Toad voice, and they were just, combined, and it made a really, tolerable voice. Then there's Anya Taylor-Joy, who played as Peach, and she was okay, I guess. I mean, I'm just so used to how Peach sounds in the games, and her high-pitched voice and all that, and it's just so weird seeing her have hearing her have a voice like that in the movie. I mean, with all the sounds and the stuff Peach has said in the games, I never expected to hear that kind of voice come out of her mouth, but it's what the company wanted. So Anya did a good job, I guess, as Peach. It was a little bit different and kind of hard to get used to, but you'll get over it in like a few minutes after you hear the voice, I guess. And then you got Charlie Day as Luigi, and he was fine. Not much to say about him, but he did, a simple voice for our favorite green boy. So Luigi's voice was fine. All the other actors did good as the characters as well, overall. Alright, we got all those actors out of the way. Now it's time for the main man himself, Pratt Chris. And after all the hate we've given him for the past few months before the movie came out, I guess we kind of do owe him an apology, I guess. Because after hearing him be Mario for the entirety of that film, he did really well. I mean, he kind of gave him a little more of a Brooklyn accent, just like in Super Mario Bros. Super Show, which would definitely work for this movie. And yeah, gotta say, he really gave it all with the role. One of my favorite lines that Mario said in the movie was when they were talking with Spike, Foreman Spike in the pizza shop, and he was gonna throw a piece of paper at Luigi, and Mario stopped him and he was like, "Say that again about my brother, and you're gonna regret it." And he threw the paper back at him. That was pretty badass. It always confused me that people say Mario doesn't care for Luigi, but despite all of the obvious giveaways in the games, he definitely cares for him in this movie. Also, I kind of wish Spike appeared a little more in the movie. I mean, he appeared in the beginning and a little bit in the end, but I was kind of hoping for him to appear in a few more scenes, but whatever. And Charles Martinet, he was also involved in this movie, and while he didn't play Mario or Luigi, he did appear in some cameos and play two other characters in the film. He played as Giuseppe, I don't even know what kind of name that is, and he also played as Mario's dad. And for this dude, he literally just talked in his Mario voice. Like, he was just, like, in one of the scenes where Mario and Luigi were at the pizza shop and they were watching the commercial, and Mario was like, what about those accents? Were they a little too much? And Giuseppe said, "Too much? It's perfect! Woohoo!" So, yeah, he literally just spoke in Mario's voice, and that was a really great little reference. Like, and he was even dressed like how Mario looked like back in the 80s, where, or like maybe in the old Mario movie from 1993 or whatever. Almost makes you believe this dude is Mario's grandfather. And while Charles didn't really have like a full main role in the movie, he did great for whatever those two acts were worth. Also, if you don't know who Charles is, you've clearly been living with Patrick. I don't even want to hear it. You clearly have. And of course, I guarantee you people are still upset that he's not playing as Mario or Luigi in the film. And I kind of am still a little bit confused on that because, like, Charles is, he not only plays Mario or Luigi, he plays other characters as well, like Wario, Waluigi, Baby Mario, Baby Luigi. He's, a standard voice actor, and, I feel he could kind of pull it off really well. But then people say that cheap freaking comeback where they say, oh, Charles's Mario voice would be annoying for a full-length movie. And I'm really confused on that too, because SpongeBob's voice actor Tom Kenny played as him in all the SpongeBob movies, and same with all the other characters as well. And in the My Little Pony movie, all of the voice actors from the TV show played as the characters in there as well. Don't ask me why I brought up My Little Pony, but let's just move on. And if you guys can handle SpongeBob's voice for an hour, then you should be able to handle Mario's voice for an hour. Just saying. In fact, the only other game I can recall where Mario spoke the most in was Mario vs. Donkey Kong on Game Boy Advance. Good game, by the way. Most of the time, you're just going to be hearing Mario do his little iconic phrases like, "Let's go, woohoo, it's me." I mean, y'all are saying Charles's voice is annoying for an hour, but aren't the games practically almost the length of a movie? I mean, when you play a mainline Mario game, it could take you about, roughly almost an hour to beat if you just, do all, like, the little side stuff, like collect all the bonuses and stuff like that, and, but if you just, plow through the game, you could beat it in less than an hour, I guess. But that's practically the same thing as a movie. Like, you're going to be hearing Mario talk a lot. Like, not, like, a whole bunch, but you are going to be constantly hearing his little sounds over and over. And y'all are saying his voice is going to be annoying for a full-length movie, but for the games, it's kind of that same deal. I mean, Mario's voice is not annoying, obviously, but that's what people have been saying, and I never understood it. The only thing close to Mario actually sounding like how he did in the games was when they were showing that plumbing commercial where Mario and Luigi were actually talking like Italians. Speaking of which, we also have to talk about the OST in the movie because, oh my gosh, it was absolutely music to my ears. My favorite track has to be the remix of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show theme, where they actually acknowledge the existence of the old Mario TV shows, and possibly that might be the only time they ever do that. But, I'll take what I can get. I've been watching this Mario plumbing commercial for like the past several weeks, ever since they released it, because it's a masterpiece. It's literally a masterpiece. How can you sit there without smiling? Like, it's like all the animation and, how old and gritty it looks, and the fact that the old theme song from Super Mario Bros. Super Show is fully brought back, and they remixed it and everything. It's just, this whole commercial is just a beauty to me, and I will continue to watch it for probably the rest of my life because of just how amazing it is. It's brilliant. How can you not enjoy this? In fact, I think I'm going to keep this screenshot on my TV for the entirety of the video just to show how much I love it. And they also included the DK rap theme. The infamous song from Donkey Kong 64, DK, Donkey Kong, that song. That was really good. Although, one weird thing is that they didn't credit the actual creator of the song in the credits. That's an L for you, Nintendo and Illumination. I mean, how can you not credit Grant Kirkhope? He gave us one of the best video game songs of all time. Why would you not credit him? Other than that, the soundtrack in the movie was fantastic. Much like every other Mario game, the soundtrack is splendid. I mean, you got remixes and, the new songs like Peaches and, like I said, the remixes, especially in the credits. I mean, for like the whole credit sequence, they played the Mario Bros. Theme, Super Mario World, the castle theme. They played Gusty Garden Galaxy from, Super Mario Galaxy. And just, there were just so many great songs in the movie. It's hard to list them down because all of them were good. There was probably not even a single bad soundtrack in the movie. It's practically impossible for Nintendo to make bad soundtracks because if you know Nintendo as much as I do, then you know darn well that they make some really slapping beats for their games. Now let's get into the actual movie itself and, talk about the plot, if there really even is much of a plot to talk about. So, much like most Mario games, it's, pretty basic. It's not really anything too, groundbreaking or anything. There's barely any story. I mean, there is a story, obviously, but it's not anything too, shocking or anything big. It's just the whole origin story thing that we've been getting a lot in movies recently, which is a bit cliched, but what can you do? So I'm gonna pretty much sum up the story as much as I can. So basically, Mario and Luigi, they want to prove themselves to be heroes and, try to, succeed at something. And, they're plumbers, so they have to, do the best at that. And then they go into Brooklyn or whatever, and then they go down this sewage pipe, and then they find the green pipe, the iconic one from the games, and they go down it, and it takes them to the Mushroom Kingdom. But one path takes Mario to the Mushroom Kingdom, and another path takes Luigi to the Dark Lands, where Bowser is at. Mario teams up with Toad and Peach, and they go through like a bunch of crap, and they go to the Donkey Kong place, like with, Cranky Kong and all the Kongs, and Mario fights Donkey Kong with, the power-ups, and Mario gets the cat bell and crawls all over Donkey Kong and just whips his ass. Then, for some weird reason, Cranky Kong is somehow obsessed with, building carts, and Mario gets a cart, and Peach gets a motorcycle, and, they all drive on Rainbow Road to go to the, Bowser's castle. And then Bowser, just like in Mario Odyssey, he wants to marry Princess Peach. And, yeah, I figured that was pretty much the reason why he always captured her all the time, because, he had a crush on her. But in the movie, they pretty much just, say, oh, I just kidnapped you because I think you're pretty and I want to marry you. And of course, Peach refuses to marry him, and that's when stuff really starts to get crazy. And literally everyone goes back to the real world in Brooklyn, and we see like Bowser and Peach and all the characters, like the Mushroom Kingdom characters in, Brooklyn with normal people. And I thought that was pretty cool, where they kind of, mix the more cartoony characters with the more, realistic and relatable characters. That was kind of, decent. And then Mario and Luigi get the star, and so long gave Bowser him. Whew. And that was the story. It was basically, the whole origin story thing again, but here it's actually a bit more unique, because we actually, go deep into like the franchise and what it's usually known for, and not just, starting from the basics. I mean, this movie did really start from the basics, have like an origin story, but, better safe than sorry, because I'm kind of glad they didn't go a little too deep into it and, go crazy with the lore in Mario and just, have it be completely related to the games. I mean, it is related, but, not in like a huge way. I mean, they were working with Illumination after all, so they pretty much went in the right direction with that one. A little side note, but the creators of Teen Titans Go also helped with making this movie, and sheesh, are we lucky that this movie wasn't, bad or anything, or it didn't fail, because it was still really good, despite these two people who made one of the worst shows in history worked on this film and somehow made it really great. So they do a good job with making the Mario movie look exactly like the games, but they do a bad job with making Teen Titans Go look like it's supposed to be related to the original Teen Titans. The Mario movie practically solos every other movie that Illumination has ever made. It defeated Despicable Me 1, 2, and 3, Secret Life of Pets 1 and 2, Grinch, Lorax, Minions Rise of Gru even, and all the other stuff they made. Even the jokes in the movie were actually pretty tolerable, and most of them were funny as well. Like when Mario was just, punched by Donkey Kong, and everything was going slow motion, and Peach was going like, Mario! And Mario was like, it's me! It was like all slow motion, and he was going like, it's me! Or something, I don't know. And from what I remember, there was not a single fart joke in the movie. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't add a fart joke, because since, Mario and Luigi are plumbers, all they basically, do is unclog toilets and fix sinks and such. So I'm surprised there wasn't at least one fart joke. Maybe there was, but I was just too excited about the movie to just even notice. So, like I said, the movie went for, a basic story with the whole origin story thing going on, but better safe than sorry, I can't really complain. But hey, I'm not complaining. Better safe than sorry, am I right? But hey, I'm not complaining. Better safe than sorry, am I right? Well, it's a Mario movie, so you can't really be expecting anything too big. But maybe they could have dove a little more deeper into the lore for the series and, just add a little bit more to it. Speaking of which, the pacing in this movie is incredibly off. Like, 1 second you're in this scene, and in the next it's done and you're moving on to the next scene. Gotta say, they really did try to rush through this movie. So maybe they could have, slowed things down a bit. I mean, going fast is Sonic's thing, not Mario's. Since this movie is featuring one of the world's biggest icons of all time, you definitely might want to take a little bit of an advantage on it. You definitely gotta love how Peach wasn't, the usual damsel in distress in this movie. She was, actually how a princess is supposed to be. Feisty and, kind of a little bossy, I guess. Speaking of that, I feel Peach was a little too assertive in this movie. I mean, sure, she's a princess and I guess she's supposed to be doing those sort of things, but they could have toned down her behavior a little bit. Just saying. Like, there was this one scene where Peach was talking to the Toads, and then one Toad said, who's that guy? And of course they were talking about Mario, and Peach was like, he's not important. And I'm like, he's the person that's helping you. And if he's not important, why bring him with you? I mean, Mario is important, but, Peach really had the nerve to call my man not important. His name's literally on the title! But instead of Peach getting kidnapped, it's basically Luigi. So yeah, Peach and Luigi have switched roles in this movie. Peach usually gets captured, and Luigi goes with Mario to rescue her. But nope, they switched roles. But, all the characters in the movie, they were played really well. But there's a certain character that I absolutely despised throughout the whole entire movie. And I think you guys know who it was. If you don't, you should. It's Lumily. Gosh, was this dude so annoying. Like, all he did was talk about death throughout all the scenes he was in. I mean, in the scenes where Luigi was just, in the cage with the penguins and, the enemies, Lumily was just there, just being weird as hell. He was like, there's nothing we could do. There's nothing but, an infinite void or whatever. And Lumily actually appeared in the Mario Galaxy games before, because I've noticed that there were some people saying, oh, who's this character? I've never seen him in a Mario game. Y'all really never played the Mario Galaxy games? They're great. So yeah, Lumily is not an original character, as people say. And I sure am glad that he's not. What purpose did he serve in the movie? He was just there. But apparently Lumily was so important that he had to have his own Happy Meal toy. Speaking of which, McDonald's actually spoiled the character in one of their, Mario movie campaigns. Speaking of which, McDonald's once again spoiled a movie with their Happy Meal campaigns. The first time I believe anyone saw Lumily was through the toy that they made for him in the, Mario movie McDonald's toys. And this wasn't the first time that they spoiled a character with a single toy. So I guess I just wish... I just wish the movie was longer and the pacing was a little more fleshed out, because they had so much to work with, obviously, but they could have, pulled it off if the movie was just, a bit longer and, not paced way too quickly. I swear, it was like they were trying to get the movie over with because of just how fast the pacing was. It's a Mario movie, so you can't really expect anything, huge or groundbreaking, and you're not going to expect anything too serious. Just, start from the basics. Ignoring all of the bad stuff, it doesn't really matter because the movie is doing super well as of right now. It's made a ton of money and is doing incredibly well with, the reviews, although except for those critics who gave the movie a bad score. But, those are the same people who gave the Sonic movies high scores, but they give this movie a low score. Yeah, that should be a lesson learned, kids. Never trust critics, ever again. The Sonic movies, they were way longer than the Mario movie because Sonic 2 took 2 years in development after the first one, and the Mario movie was in the works since 2018, and possibly before that, so way before the first Sonic movie was even announced, because it was announced back in, like, 2019, I believe, and then the Mario movie was announced, like, a little bit before, but the Sonic 1 and 2 movies came out before the Mario movie came out, and the Mario movie was announced practically already started development first, which just feels a little weird when you put it together like that. And another thing about the Mario movie, they went absolutely nuts with the references. I mean, Mario was playing Kid Icarus in his room, and it kind of reminded me of that Japanese Mario movie where Mario was just like, sitting and just playing games late at night or whatever. And like when I saw that scene, that's all I got call back to, because like maybe that wasn't really what they were trying to reference, but if it was, they definitely knew us super well. And there's a bunch of other small Easter eggs you super hard Mario fans like me can possibly try and count, but good luck with that one. And from what I've seen, people were also complaining about them showing way too much of the movie in the trailers, and I'm just hearing confusion once again because nobody told y'all to watch the trailers like 50 times, because when a new movie or video game is coming out, your number one priority should be not to watch the trailers like 5,000 times, otherwise you'll end up spoiling yourself. Luckily, I was one of those few people, if not the only person, to not watch the trailers like 500 times. And I didn't even watch the final trailer until after the movie came out, and sheesh, am I lucky with that. I just don't understand why the critics are being so critical on this movie. I mean, there's almost nothing bad with it. So go watch the Mario movie. Don't listen to those critics. I mean, why? Just how could you hate this movie? How could anyone hate this movie? That's my question. Y'all gave the Sonic movies good scores, but you give my man Mario... I mean, you gave the Sonic movies high scores, but you leave my boy Mario out with a low score for the movie that it certainly doesn't deserve? It deserves to be way higher than that. Come on now. And were they hating it only because it doesn't really have much of a story? If so, what were they expecting? It's a Mario movie, so if you've played a single Mario game, you've basically played them all, and you should have already known what you were going to expect going to the movie. Alright, so I believe that's practically everything I have to say about the Mario movie. Sheesh, I'm almost losing my voice now after practically everything I've said in this video. And I just hope I didn't leave anything out, because this was definitely a must-watch movie. I mean, obviously it's a must-watch because the movie's going crazy right now. I mean, it's making a lot of money. People are going crazy for it, including me. And this is just a great time to be a Mario fan. Now, if only we can get a new game. So, would I recommend watching the movie? Hell yeah. I mean, it could be the best video game movie ever. I mean, I guess it could beat the Sonic movies, but y'all shouldn't really take me up on that one. Just don't expect like a deep story or a serious plot line. I mean, it's a Mario movie, and like I said, if you've played one Mario game, you've practically played them all. Obviously not a bad thing, because, I love me some Mario, and every new game, they just, try to change things up a bit and refresh the pacing in each game so it's not always the same things in every new game we get, which is always a good thing. So, if you played a Mario game, then you should already know what to expect with the movie. Kind of. Another joke that got a laugh out of me was the scene where Bowser was like, "My army! Koopas! Goombas! Whatever those things are!" And he was talking about the Spinies, the dudes with the spiky shells. And I'm like, they're Spinies! How can you forget about the Spinies? Like, seriously, they're the things Lakitu throws at you all throughout the games. How do you forget a name that simple? Come on. Still a fun one, though. And I do also wish we got to see a little more of Mario, Peach, and Toad's journey as they went to, the Kong Kingdom or whatever it was called, because we did see them go through Bob-omb Battlefield from 64, and we saw them go to Tostarena, aka the Sand Kingdom from Odyssey, and they went to the Yoshi land. And speaking of Yoshi, I did see that post-credit scene, and of course, I mean, it's not anything too big, it's just, a Yoshi egg, and we hear, Yoshi! You hear, like, Yoshi's little, catchphrase, and, yep, that's definitely leading up to a sequel, so I imagine a sequel is already in the works as we speak. So yeah, I can proudly and a little bit weirdly say that Illumination finally made a good movie for once. I mean, the Mario movie surpasses literally every film that they've made. Forget the Minions, forget Secret Life of Pets, forget the Lorax, Grinch, all that crap. Nobody cares about those. We're here for Mario. We all are. And as for those pesky critics, nobody cares about them. Just, focus on the actual audience instead. And because we are far more stable than they will ever be. And just, we are obviously more secure than just some random critic who for sure doesn't even know what they're talking about. I just hope Illumination can pull off the sequel just as good, because, I mean, the reason why the Mario movie, just, the one now, is as good is because Nintendo was peeking over their shoulder, because I imagine they're really strict with their characters, and there are some certain things we wouldn't really see them do in the games. So they tried to incorporate them into the movie, and they pulled it off swell. Alright everyone, so that was my thoughts on the Super Mario Bros. Movie. It's definitely a movie worth watching, and if you haven't seen it, go watch it now. I mean, why wouldn't you watch it? I mean, it's been hyped up all these years, and we thought it was going to be bad at first, but nope, it ended up being good. It's a really successful movie, and I surely wouldn't recommend it enough. And as for my score, I'd give it probably an 8 or a 9 out of 10. I mean, it's not, a perfect movie, but it's definitely still a fantastic one. A movie doesn't have to be perfect to be good. Remember that. And so yeah, I'd give it like maybe an 8 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10. I don't know, I'm kind of split on those. Maybe an 8.5 out of 10 is, a reasonable score for me, so, I don't have to be mixed on it over and over, like most reviews I do, where I just pick, like, 2 numbers and just can't really pick between them. I'm really excited for the sequel. I mean, we don't really got much to say about that now at the moment, but we will soon enough. So, yep. Thank you guys for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. Watch the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and I'll see you guys in my next video. So long, Gabe Bowser. Finally. Well, guess now I have to wait for the movie to come out on Blu-ray, or on digital, or whatever streaming website it's going to come on. Maybe I can watch it on one of those websites without being spotted. How long have you been here? Yeah, well, either way, I'm gonna need you to leave. Alright, you asked for it. He was complimenting his death in the movie anyway, so I granted him his wish, and I'd say I gave it to him pretty good.